Welcome. I am just, there's loads of questions here already. So I'm just going to start with our opening prayer and then I will get through as many as I can, okay? I'm going to have to run and answer the door at about 10-15 minutes in, but we're going to do this anyway. Just for those of you who are new, I'm going to have to run and answer the door in about 10 minutes, but then I'm all yours for the rest of the reading, okay? I'm downstairs because I have a little bit of allergy. So if you recognize it's a different room, that's okay. Don't worry. Okay. O great spirit, Father, sky, Mother, earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so the first question is from Christina, and she's saying, "Hey Sky, I really need some support and guidance on healing a thrush infection in the intimate area. I have it in and out of the blue. I'm ready to clear the cycle and I'm ready to feel what I need to heal. This is an on and off infection I've had for over 15 years. Now I feel I'm unsure of where to dive in anymore to heal it. How does it serve me? Thank you for the love and support." So whenever you're dealing with thrush, you're dealing with your female area, but you're also dealing with your gut. Okay, by the time you're experiencing thrush in your vajayjay or you're experiencing thrush in your mouth, it's because your gut is kind of overrun with it. So you have to treat it in the gut and you have to treat it in your vaginal area. And it's very fungus from a metaphysical perspective is anger, right? Gut is around emotional abuse in childhood, and then obviously it manifests as low self-worth or normally very low worth behavior in sexual situations. So the first area is to stop sleeping with people or letting people sleep with you that you don't know or don't respect your body or that are asking you to take emotional neglect or emotional abuse. Clear up the past, anyone that you've allowed into your intimate space, right? Because you thought you had to sleep with them after the first date, or you thought you had to be with them because they were your boyfriend and they were giving you a hard time, or there was pressure. All of these times where you were with somebody that you didn't want to be with, or you did sexual things that you didn't want to do because it was hot or the person wanted it, or all of that stuff is what you're clearing out. All the places where you have the illusion of sexual boundaries that aren't real, like they're you doing things that you don't enjoy. As opposed to you engaging in sexual activity that you do enjoy. And the line, especially for many women, can be very blurry because of how much low self-worth and emotional abuse as a child can get caught up in our behavior with men in a sexual way. Okay, so that's what you're focusing on from a metaphysical perspective, and it going and coming back is exactly because you're getting into these relationships, and it goes and it comes. You're not always in that situation, and it can be really out of the blue. Sexual experiences can be really out of the blue. You can be very much minding your own business and then have sexual pressure from a partner, or very much be working or whatever and have a man that you don't know come on to you or have a potential for sexual connection. So it's important to look at the root, and the root is, I don't feel that I have the right to have sexual boundaries. I feel like, where do you feel that you owe men sex? Where do you feel that you have to do sexual things that you don't want to do to keep a partner? Where do you hide your real feelings about sexual intimacy? Where are your needs not getting met? Where are you angry about the way that you're treated in the bedroom? Where are you lying even to yourself about your sexual needs? It's pretty deep conversations, right? Where's your low self-worth from childhood causing you to make bad decisions in your love life? And that's where it starts to dissolve, because Candida as a fungus is about resentment, about not being able to hold your worth, feeling like you have to exchange your worth for love. So we're going to send in Archangel Raphael to help with healing that. Then Aisha's saying, an ex-friend recently reached out to reconnect and talk after we fell out because of our relationship turned very toxic. I'm not sure how I should handle it and if I want her back in my life. Any insights? The words that came into my head are, no response is a response. When people are toxic, they tend to reach out to us because we become their emotional supply, right? They need something, they want something. It's not because they've changed. And that doesn't matter whether the person's in a toxic friendship or in a toxic long-term relationship. I keep seeing Archangel Michael like just closing the door. But you need to do the work on your guilt for letting go of friendships that no longer serve you. But I'm really seeing that you need to really release. It doesn't need another conversation. It doesn't need the door to be reopened. But you do need to work on your guilt, because you're really carrying this belief that, it should be forever. And, it should be loving. And if it's not, then it's not good for you. It's not good for them. It doesn't serve. You're not someone's band-aid. You're not someone's, emotion patch for their wounds. You're not a substitute for their connection to God. And it's just it's really important that you release the guilt around letting that person go, because it lets her hook you back in. So let's just take a minute. We'll let Archangel Michael remove all of the hooks, the cords, the anchors for you. And we'll ask for healing on your heart so that you don't feel like you have to constantly sacrifice. There we go. Okay, Mary is saying, hi, Sky. I usually oscillate between two states, one being feeling very whole, content, blissful, and open, and one being very closed up, resentful, bitter, and rejected. My question is, if I change my state depending on the circumstances and my relationships outside of me, or whether my inner state dictates my relationships and my circumstances. The answer to that is that your inner state dictates your relationships and your circumstances. There is no outside of us, right? The state where you are closed off, isolated, bitter, resentful, rejected, those are the unhealed aspects of yourself that you're trying to repress. And then they stay down until something happens that triggers those feelings of lovelessness and rejection. So until you heal, I'm actually feeling until you heal like a lovability wound, that's where the bitterness and the resentfulness comes from, because long-term resentment becomes bitterness. It's like seeds of bitterness are planted. And the only antidote is forgiveness and growth. It really is forgiveness and growth. Christina's asking about the thrush infection. Does coconut oil help? Yeah, coconut oil helps. Coconut oil is an antiviral and antifungal. Flaxseed oil helps because it's a really strong estrogen, but the real issue is the gut. So if you, for example, if you were to sit down and do a coffee enema, the candida would clear up within 24 hours. Candida comes from the gut, so it manifests other places in the body, your feet, your vajayjay, your mouth, but it always starts in the gut, and obviously the gut's not visible, right? And it's entrenched. So when most people go and treat candida, they like get a tablet for 3 days. It's not going to do anything except put it back a little bit, and then it's gonna start growing again. It's kind of like putting weed killer but not actually pulling out the roots. It's just going to come back. Exactly like weeds, like candida grows roots into the side of your intestines, and it just reflowers, it just regrows, it just reshoots up, unless you do long-term candida treatments or enemas and things like that to get rid of them, or colonics. But it's not, this is the issue, right? The body's so holistic. The issue is never the issue. If you've got an infection anywhere else in the body, your immune system is low. The majority of your immune system lives inside your gut. So, the more you balance your gut, the more you clear out your liver, the more your immune system stays high and consistent. Sumer is saying, hey Sky, please may I ask for healing for my grandson? He has a virus and is so ill. He keeps coughing and choking so badly at night that he can't breathe. It's been very scary. Many thanks, Sue. Yep, let's just send so much unconditional love and Archangel Raphael in for an instant healing on your grandson. Okay. Okay, let me just go pull the door open and then I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. I'm all yours again. Okay, so Sarah saying, "Hi Sky, would it be possible to know what's going on with me? I feel disorientated and I'm having a hard time going back to how I was a month ago. Any messages or guidance on how to navigate this?" I'm immediately seeing like the angels saying ground, 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 and they're showing me you need to get outside. You really need to clear up your energy because you've got like when I'm tuning into you, you've got so many cords going on. It's ridiculous. So we need to cut your cords. Ooh. Ooh, there we go. But like get outside in nature, and they're showing me like a real social media laptop tech like detox for you is really going to help you get back to where you were. Monica saying, "Hi Sky, may I ask for healing? Was stuck 6 years with my friend who was saying I am one, but was in another relationship, saying we are twin flames. It was getting me stuck. Thank you so much." So this is about coercive control. When we're healing, there's types of abuse that are obvious. So, physical abuse, very obvious emotional abuses like put downs and aggression and things like that. Manipulation, or what's called coercive control, is less obvious. And that's the gaslighting, oh, but I'm your friend, and oh, but I'm your twin flame, and oh, but I'm in love with you despite the fact that I'm treating you like crap, or oh, but I'm a good father despite the fact that I'm a terrible husband. It's this energy of, yes, and you have to put up with it, yes, and there's something wrong with you for not just taking it. It's this yes and energy, and this like you said, I'm going to keep like this energy of you bring up the issue and they're like, it feels like they're listening to you, but it's like superficial, and it makes you feel like the issue's been addressed, but it hasn't. And you come out of it feeling guilty, despite the fact that they're the ones who are doing it wrong, right? So manipulations is a funny one, but yeah, let's just bring in the romance angels and Archangel Raguel. And this is a hard one because no matter how many times somebody rejects you, or manipulates you, it doesn't stop hurting. And once you can see this, which is why so many people don't see themselves as abused or don't relate to themselves in that way, it is because it's a painful realization to have. However, the pain of seeing a manipulative person and their lack of integrity is way less than the pain of living with that stuff all the time. Okay, so let's just remove the blocks in your eyes to seeing the truth. Okay. Okay. Nicolette is saying, Dear Sky, I've opened emotionally to a new man after years, but one healer told me it's not my soulmate. I really like this new man, Ben. This makes me confused. Can you please look at this? Okay, let me have a look. Okay, so I don't agree with whoever told you it's not your soulmate. I think that Ben is 100% your soulmate. There's there's karma here and there's complications. And I think that's what's entangling everything. What I'm seeing is like vows of like star-crossed lovers kind of complicating everything. So let's release that if that's okay. Okay. I'm going to bring in the Lords of Karma here to help clear up as much karma between you and the love graces as possible. And I'm just hearing the words, keep like really focused on I'm lovable, I'm lovable, I'm lovable, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. Don't get pushed into trying to control, force, make it happen. There's this real energy of just letting yourself enjoy the connection between you and him. Oh, there we go. I should saying, hi, Sky. Nice to see you back. Nice to see you too, guys. Okay. I just saying, an ex-friend recently reached out to reconnect and talk after we fell out because our relationship. Oh, we've just done that one. Go Soulful saying, hi, could I have a health scan, please? So the moment I'm scanning you, they're showing me mineral deficiencies. So we really need to get some vitamins and minerals inside you, fulvic minerals, shellac, sea moss, that kind of thing is really going to help you remineralize. Iodine, zinc, selenium, that stuff is really going to help you. And they're showing me like exhaustion because your body is not able to, it doesn't have the building blocks that it needs. And it's a fear of putting the correct structures in place. It's a really deep lack of support wound. So we're going to send in the angels to heal your fear of being supported. There we go. Okay, Mathis is saying, Dear Sky, recently I had surgery on my leg and I really need a job change. Do you have any guidance? I'm all over the place. My recovery is slow. Many thanks. Much love. So let's just start by sending in Archangel Raphael and asking for an instant healing on your leg. Okay, let's just release. If you want this release, just say yes. Release your fear of moving forward. Releasing your resentment at your current job so that the new job can come in with grace and ease. There we go. Alta saying, hi, love and light. Please give a reading guidance about my romantic life. What am I doing wrong? Is my divine partner near me? So when I'm scanning you energetically, you're just energetically very closed. So I think you're protecting yourself or defending yourself or carrying some kind of heartbreak because the heart chakra is closed and you're very closed. So, like for example, if we were in a coffee shop together, you would be looking at the ground. You wouldn't be looking up at people or smiling at people, or your energy isn't open, warm, friendly. Um, so it's that energy of you need to open up that heart chakra again. Things like drinking cacao, things like buying yourself flowers, things like doing the lovability work so that you really feel lovable as a person, through all the different levels. That energy of romancing yourself and bringing romance into your life, not in the form of another person, but in the form of your relationship with God and with yourself. That's kind of gonna bring the person in. um I have a feeling you have a few people interested in you around, because when I asked, I could see 3 or 4 people. Um, but I'm also feeling like you need to raise your standards. I feel like the people that are around you aren't the people that you really want, and that's another part of healing your heart, like not feeling guilty for having standards for your partner, not feeling guilty about deserving more in intimate relationships, and not feeling like you're spoiled or you're um ungrateful or things like that. Like there's a real energy of I'm afraid that I'll be perceived as bad, or I'd rather not deal with the rejection, and then you end up with people that don't have the same standards as you. Um, Let me put it this way: I once had a lady on one of my soulmate shadow work courses, and she was saying to me, "How can you ask a man to show you his bank account?" And I was like, she's like, "Isn't that too intimate?" And you're like, well, what's more intimate than having children with someone, than making love with somebody, than moving in with somebody? So when you talk intimacy and privacy, you've got your priorities all screwed up. And it's the same thing that's kind of happening here, is that when you're dating, you're creating intimacy before you're creating intimacy. So intimacy stands for into me see. So it means actually having a deep level of trust. It doesn't mean sleeping with somebody. It doesn't just mean liking somebody. It means creating a really deep, profound level of trust, and really knowing each other, right? So there's this real energy of letting go of what men think, or what they're triggered by, and deciding what you want in your partner, period. And not feeling guilty about, obviously be kind, but if that person isn't for you, not wasting their time and not wasting your time, in relationships that have no business in your life. Love Sunshine is saying, "Hi Sky, can I ask about my current role again? Things are very strange here. Do I need to look for a new job? Thank you." I think you already are. I actually, when the angels are like showing me like you're already doing job searches and things like that, so I think you already are. The reality is that you're not supposed to be in a traditional job. You're supposed to be doing your spiritual healing stuff, which is why you keep sabotaging the jobs or choosing jobs that don't feel good. So it's kind of like one of those divine life purpose, divine intervention things. So let's just take a minute so that you can actually manifest the job that you love, and potentially working in a spiritual retreat center, or in a place where you're able to combine your divine life purpose with having a paycheck without necessarily being an entrepreneur, being self-employed. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, Judith Greta saying, "Dear Sky, I'm a theta healing practitioner since some months. Congratulations. I enjoy it very much. Is there any guidance on energetic support, downloads to bring my theta healing abilities to full blossoming?" I'm just hearing the words like playful practice, just engaging in, engaging in play, and also being visible about it, exactly like you're doing here. I'm a theta healing practitioner. What are you good at? How do you help your clients? Actually talking about the results that people have had when they're working with you on your social media, in your everyday conversations, and you'll start noticing people asking you about how they can work with you, and one thing will naturally lead to the other. Teresa Carpenter saying, "Hi, my love. I'm in a funk and everything is pissing me off, and I'm normally a sweet, nice person. Will you ask the angels what I have blocking me from peace? Thank you so much." Oh, my love, this is like a boundaries thing. So you have good girl trauma. And it's getting to the point because of the, August, we have two super full moons, and there's been some patterns that many of us have been carrying around for decades that we're trying to avoid healing. And the good girl trauma one has been a big one. The self-love trauma has been a big one. Um, you know, the boundaries one has been a big one. And I think for you in particular, the good girl trauma and the boundaries, like it's finally gotten to a point where you are pissed off because it has to go. It has to go. You have to stop compromising your integrity and your boundaries, because that's not real love, right? The moment that you have to let go of your integrity to get love, it's no longer a real relationship. And that's what most people don't understand, right? It's now an exchange. It's now an act of sacrifice. And the moment that that happens, it becomes poisoned because there's resentment in it. And it's no longer good for both of you. So it's that slowing down and finding the courage to trust that if God is telling you that this situation, this relationship, these people, they're not good for you, you need to listen to that. You need to listen to that. God knows it was the biggest cause of my illnesses. I kid you not, there is scientific research that proves that the biggest factor on your longevity of life is the quality of your relationships. Not what you eat, not how much you sleep, not any of those things that they really wanted it to be, but the quality of your relationships. So, sometimes it takes us getting really pissed off, our situation and the people around and what we're doing with our life for us to make a change. Anger isn't necessarily a bad thing. Righteous anger exists. And anger applied in the right way at the right time can really cut a lot of old trauma out and really get us to level up, right? But this is the deal. The angels are saying that you need to focus on courage, because the reason that you keep landing in anger is because you haven't developed enough courage to be who you are without needing the anger to give you permission to say some of the thoughts that aren't easy. So when you develop courage, you stop needing anger so much, because then you're able to be honest. You're able to communicate your needs. So I'm going to send an Archangel Michael to vacuum off the anger and to activate the courage so that you're able to be honest about what you want and move towards it before things get bad, before things get painful, before you are suffering. There we go. Okay, so Sarah Messing, can I ask how these cords came to be? Cords are formed every day. So energetic cords form when you're thinking about another person and that person is thinking about you. And unless you're like me or other psychics and you're actually actively clearing your chakras, cutting your cords, repairing your energy field every day, they tend to get built up, particularly if you have any, emotionally charged discussions, minor arguments, big decisions, because you leave the situation, but you're still thinking about that person is still thinking about you, so the energy is still flowing backwards and forwards. And the more you both think about each other, the stronger the cord gets, right? And it's not visible, but it's energetically real. So if you don't cut cords on a regular basis and release them, it just brings the old energy from past connection with them into the present moment. New cords form anyway. Every time you think about someone, it's like a spider's web. There's a little energetic line that goes out and connects with them. So unless you're constantly cutting your cords and releasing the day, or releasing the energy, it does build up over time. So it's very normal to have cords and they need to get cut. The other way that they happen is when you want to help somebody, or when that person wants your help and they feel that you have more energy than them, or you feel that you can heal them, and then you naturally agree to give them energy. And that might be because they're sick, or because they're depressed, or because they're going through a hard time and you love them. And then you start acting as their God. And then that drains you, and leaves them dependent on you. So it's not healthy for either of you. What you want to do is unplug the cord from you and plug them up to a higher power, so they're not dependent on you permanently. Okay, Balbear saying, hi Sky, can I have a reading? Thank you. So the card that I'm seeing is Time to Move On, and it's like the Mermaid Oracle card deck, and I can see it. And I can see it like the ocean waves. So they're really saying, like, please, if you can get to an ocean or a big body of water, let yourself cleanse and make space. I think some of you are so busy because I can see so many things going on, and you're using busyness, to kind of hide lack of productivity or mask low self-worth. And they're saying you need to make time for God. You need to make time to sit in stillness and be with God. And they're really showing me like this: make space for what you want to come in. There's no space for it. You're asking for it, but your energy's so closed because you're so busy. There's no time and there's no space. So slow down when you want to speed up. Make time and space for connecting with the divine. Make time and space for pleasure. Make time and space for you. Okay. Mary A is saying, I wanted to ask a question on behalf of my sister M, with her permission. She struggles with being overweight, PCOS, acne, hormonal imbalance of her life. Diet and exercise don't help her much with weight loss. Could you tell me what is the root cause of her weight gain and stuckness? What could be worked on? My love, you need to regulate the nervous system. So what you're dealing with is a body that's in fight, flight, freeze. And when somebody's got hormonal imbalance, weight imbalance, and their body isn't healing, first you have to balance the nervous system, and then everything else starts to function. If the nervous system is in red, it's in fight, flight, freeze. If the nervous system is in green, it's in rest, repair, renew. And you can't, your body can't repair when it's in fight, flight, freeze. So the first thing for her to do is to kind of cut out and remove any toxic and abusive relationships. The next thing for her to do is to start doing like somatic healing exercises and to actually get support for working through her trauma that does not make her feel safe, right? Because the weight is the way that she's managing her unmanageable emotions. It protects her, it literally creates a barrier. And then the hormone swinging up and down is like, I can't repress these traumas. So you spend a lot of time either holding the trauma down, and then when your muscles literally can't hold it anymore, was poof, it just pops out of the water. So she needs to actually put some work into resolving the original traumas around self-worth and around not feeling safe in her own body, in her own skin, in her own femininity, in her own um in her own self, like being allowed to be authentically her. But if she regulates her nervous system and works on the core traumas, the rest will dissolve. From a metaphysical perspective, the hormones are about not being able to communicate freely, not being allowed to be yourself. The PCOS, the female issues are saying that she doesn't feel safe as a woman, doesn't feel like she has the right to be a woman. Being a woman is painful because of the misogyny, because of the sexism, because of the pressure, because of the bullying, because of whatever happened, probably sexual abuse and things like that as well. Whether it manifested, in the ways that it does, through social media, like overt or covert. So sexual abuse can be overt, which is things like rape, sexual assault, public humiliation, but it can also be, someone walking behind you at school and undoing your bra strap. It can be your partner, kind of pushing you into having sex when you don't want to have sex. It can be, you being shamed for religious reasons, for, wanting to experience sexual pleasure. Sexual abuse doesn't always look the same to different people, and people often minimize their experience of it. But that's what's coming up when I am scanning her. I'm going to send in the angels to do an instant healing, and I'm going to do our closing prayer. It's good seeing you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow. I missed you while I was away on holiday. I saw Hera did an incredible job with you guys. We are running the next round of Medical Intuitive. So if you're interested in that, the students are having some incredible results. So get in touch so we can see if it's a good fit for you and how your psychic gifts can be activated. O Great Spirit, Father, Sky, Mother, Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.